on this computer. Okay. Okay, cool. All right, okay. Good. So welcome everybody to this meeting session of High Flyers Book Club. Please give yourself a round of applause for coming in. Yeah, that's good. So we're going to kickstart with a welcome address by SD Eden Form. So let us give us a welcome address before we take off, please.
Okay. Okay, I needed to type into the comments. I notice everybody is just quiet. I don't know why everybody is quiet.
Okay, because you meet all everybody.
Let's see some reaction. No, on the chat,
Okay.
Let's have some reaction on the chat. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. I can see beautiful faces of young women. I don't know where the men are. Okay, I've seen some men. A few men in our midst. Helen Uranta, welcome. Welcome every single person who has been able to join in for this maiden session of the High Flyers Book Club. This has not happened before, but we decided to stretch ourselves, to get this done. Before now, we've been having our review sessions on the WhatsApp group. We've been having our book reading, but having the review on the WhatsApp group. But we thought it wise to get it open this way on the Zoom so everybody can, share their minds. We could get to rub our minds and get to share views, see our faces, and actually have a better discussion, on the Zoom. So the High Flyers Book Club is just an opportunity for everyone is giving an opportunity to everyone to start reading. I mean, our vision, the vision of the team is actually to raise world-class entrepreneurs. And in raising world-class entrepreneurs, we actually need to learn from other ones who have actually achieved whatever we're trying to achieve. And so most of those people have written books, and we want to be, we decided to make book reading our culture, so that we can get to learn from other people who have succeeded and we can all get better. So welcome everybody again. I know that many of us don't like reading. I never used to like reading, but as I got on board this business, our Long Reach business platform, I got to discover that leaders are readers. Leaders are readers, and readers are leaders. So if you're going to go find in this business opportunity, you've got to open your mind up to reading. You've got to, make out time to read. And in fact, if you look at our daily method of operation, if you look at what we're supposed to be doing every single day, what do we call it again? We have, list of things we're supposed to do every day. And one of those things is, reading at least 1 or 2 chapters of a book a day. And so this club is meant to, encourage everyone to get involved in reading, all right? So every month we are coming up with a book, and everybody will read, and then we'll come like this to share ideas. So it actually provides with a sense of community that reminds us, that we are not alone on this journey. There's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with others. And so we decided that we should, come together like this to read together so that we get to encourage each other. When you know that you're not alone on this journey, it gives you more inspiration, you're more motivated, to get along on the journey, on this entrepreneurial journey. And also, it also creates a chance for conversation. This book is meant to create a chance for everybody to have a conversation. So many people, may not have time to discuss during our training session, but when we have the book club session like this, everyone is open, to sharing their own ideas and thoughts, especially concerning the book, that will be provided for us for the month. And then also another reason we are having the book club is to also encourage unity. We all know that network marketing, in network marketing, there is need for teamwork and solidarity, unity. So one of the things that will help us get together is reading together. When we read together and share ideas, it will enable us to do what? Work together as well. We get to form, a kind of a strong bond, between each other. All right, so that's why we're having this, the book club, and I hope that everyone will open up their minds to get involved in the book reading so that we all can go to, soar together to greatness. Thank you once again, Mr. Harold and Gezuzo, for accepting the responsibility of helping us coordinate and making this happen. Now, let me end this with, there's a quote I saw by Dale Khan, what's his name again? Dale Carnegie. Now, the book we have for the month has to do with influencing people. And I can't wait to just hear reviewers about what they've read and how they understand it. I just can't wait to hear from them. So thank you so much for this amazing opportunity. Let's open up. Who you like them to join.
Hello. Hello, network is bad. Hello. Okay. Hello. Okay. All right. So anyway, thank you, SD Nimfo, for that welcome address. Before we go on, I just want to remind us of what I saw in the Bible about knowledge and reading. Here, I think it's in Ezekiel 28, for it says, "You have used your wisdom and understanding to great wealth, gold and silver and many treasures. Your wisdom has made you very rich and very proud." In other words, you can use your wisdom that you acquire from searching in books to get yourself wealth. So it's very important that we read. Like she said, readers are leaders. So what we're going to do is that we're going to go into the main book, and each chapter will be about 10 minutes, okay? And we for those who have who will be 2 in a chapter, it will be 5 minutes each. And to help us with the timekeeping, Harriet Okagbari, my wife, she's going to be the timekeeper for this session today. So that is how it's going to run out. So for the next, the introduction, we're going to call the co-moderator, Addis Gezuzo, to handle that part of it. So I'm going to unmute you, Gezuzo, and then the floor will be yours. Let me say, ask to unmute. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay. So good morning, partners. Thank you, fellow reviewers. My name is Gezuzo Esimike, and I am here to briefly introduce the book. The book is titled Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion by a psychologist, Dr. Robert Cialdini. I hope I pronounced it. I think it's an Italian name. Yes, the book is over 200 in pages. And basically, it was written as a result of the writer's experience with the fact that people were always cajoling him to accepting the offers that they were bringing his way, basically. So he got curious, as in wanting to know, why is it that he always falls victim? Anything that comes his way, he ends up either buying or he ends up getting the invitation, even when it was not convenient. So he, as a psychologist, he wanted to understand behind the thing. When I mean buying, I mean buying for auctions, buying for sales, buying for anything that people were inviting into, even when it was not convenient. So in order to understand it, the first approach he had was he wanted to do the scientific, he wanted to use the science of psychology in understanding why he was easily influenced by the desire of people that he knew, and so he decided to have an experimental study of influence, the ability of other people to influence the decision of their fellow humans. And so the book came out as a result of a psychological study. So he began with scientific approach into the study of the psychology of buying and sales with man. But at the end of the day, he discovered that, in the process of the book, we will all see that, he discovered that it is much more than psychology. It's really much more than psychology. There is this thing that enables people to be able to influence the other man to do what they would not rather do. So he titled it, and his research, he titled everything around the theory of influence as relates to acceptability of whatever is being offered, and rejection. So in the course of this book, we'll be able to understand how people can easily influence the other people's decision. What are the factors that make people easily accept the offers that are being presented, and what are the factors that will bring about rejection? How you can reject, and you can be rejected. You understand? So it's not just he did not just study how people can easily accept offers. He also understudied what was behind rejection. So the book is basically a result of a research work, research through observation, research through speaking with people, and understanding the way people influence other people. So the whole idea behind the book is about compliance. It's more of 99% the study of compliance, how to comply, how and why people comply, how people are able to comply. That is how presentations are done to make people comply to what you are presenting them to. And you will agree with me, that is what we do in Longreach. We try to help make people comply to accept what we are offering. So this book is very relevant to us. Now, the purpose is to expose, the whole purpose of this book, there is a purpose behind it, the objective of this book. The whole purpose behind this book is to expose the techniques that can work to enable you, make people comply to what you are offering. So once again, this is also very relevant to us. And we are going to be seeing from this book, in the stories and the way he presented the book, we are going to be seeing how it came to the whole understanding of how people comply. The book is divided into six principles. Each of the principles are divided into chapters, and they are broken down for easy understanding. It's a very sweet read. And in the course of the book, we will see that the writer actually used the principles of observation, examination, and participatory observation in bringing out the facts. So it's not just an idea, it's actually a study that the writer has put together for us. And the beautiful thing I like about this book is that At the end of the day, the writer also, because the first edition, this is the second edition, they actually did the same. We are reading the second edition. The writer in this second edition included the experiences of people who have read the book and have applied the principles. So he also included it. And I'm very sure that those of us who have read the book have enjoyed it. And for those who have not read the book, just sit tight. From the review process, you will really like the book, and I'm sure you will go back to the book to read it. But today, each one of us are going home with one principle or the other that will help us do better in what we are doing. Thank you very much. I hope we all enjoy this time out.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jesuzo.
Thank you, sir.
The introduction. That was beautiful. We're going to chapter 1, and that chapter 1 is to be presented by Ofon Emmanuel. But I just got a call now that today, before we started, that Ofon Emmanuel will not be available. Yeah, please, there's something about the book club. If you give it a chapter to prepare and you're not going to prepare, please let us know in time so that we can give it to somebody else, so that we can go on with it. This is a learning curve, please. So what I want to do is that I'm not going to leave that chapter 1 to go without having ideas. So I'm just going to give some basic points on that chapter 1, because it's very important, because we're dealing with compliance and psychology of human behavior. What is it that you tell somebody and the person buys a product, and you tell somebody something and the person runs away? What is it that you tell? How come you tell somebody about network marketing, and he decides to join, and you tell somebody something and he say doesn't? So that is the psychology of human behavior. That's what chapter 1 is talking about. It calls it the weapons of influence. There are certain weapons that you use to influence somebody's behavior, and in the Japanese fight, they call it the jujutsu, in which you use certain things like weight, weapons, leverage, to actually defeat your opponent. So these are the things that you use in it. And some of these weapons, I'll just give them. One of them is what you call the price weapon. You go to a shop and you want to buy a product. You will say you want to buy your lipstick, and you see one is for naira, one is for 1,000 naira, and the other one is for 2,000 naira. You think that the one that is 2,000 naira is more, it has a higher quality, and you go for that. That's it. That's what they have done for you, is that they're giving you a weapon of influence, and you will fall into it. It's like you just going, this 2,000, and that's what she did. So she had this is it turquoise they call them? Turquoise they call them, for which a lot of tourists used to buy in a shop, and she had been trying to sell it, and she couldn't sell it. So that weekend she was going away, and she just, out of desperation, she said, "Look," to talk to the sales girl, "Look, sell this thing at 1.5 the price." So as she went, when she came back, everything was cleared. So she thought it was cleared at half the price, only to see that it was cleared at twice the price, because the sales girl thought it was twice the price. And then she called, so she was surprised, said, "What happened?" It was a weapon. She does call it, that was a weapon of influence, because people came in, the tourists, they came, and they saw that it was a higher price. And so they used that higher price to determine that this is a quality product, and they all bought it and cleared it. The other one she gave example of was the what they call it, the turkey. Now the turkey, when the turkey has a baby, the way she responds to the baby is the chip sound of the baby. Chip. As long as the baby is making that chip sound, the mother turkey will care for the baby. But if it doesn't make the chip sound, she won't care for the baby. And then it can even kill the baby if the baby is not making any sound. So they said, okay, how come it's only that sound that can make you take care of a baby? And they started, so they said, okay, in that case, they find out that the turkey had a pole cat as an opponent. They said, okay, let's put the chip sound inside the pole cat and see if the mother turkey will respond as the way he responds to the baby. And they did that. They put a chip sound in the pole cat, which is supposed to be an enemy. And guess what? The mother turkey responded. to the polecat, an enemy, the way they respond to the baby. So they said, okay, so how come of all the things, of all the maternal instinct, it's only that sound that can make you respond to the baby? So they started finding out, does it only apply to only the turkey? They said, no, even human beings, only one sound, only one thing can determine it. For example, you're talking to a prospect on network, on your long reach, and then it's okay, comparison of network marketing to other network marketing products, and you say, okay, there's no clawback, there's no clawback on this one, and it could be only that one word you say that will make the person say, okay, let me go for this, just one word. So they started finding out what is it that what is it that is in a word you say, and will make people comply. And they gave an example of because. They said somebody should go, and somebody went to the admin and said, okay, I want to, can you do these copies for me because I'm in a rush? Just because he used that word because, they complied. But if you don't use that word because, they might not comply with you. So it's very so these are the things we will need to study, in your business. The type of things you say to people that will make them want to buy, the type of words you say to a prospect that will make you want to come into your business. Another one they gave was that of the tailors, the price comparison. The brothers, Sidney and Harry. Okay, Harry is the head tailor, and Sid is the younger one. Okay, and when a customer comes to buy a suit, Sid will behave as if he doesn't hear properly, and we call Sid and we call Harry. Harry, what's the price of this product? Harry will say $42. He will say, repeat it. You say $42, and he will talk to the customer and say he said $22. And the customer will say, okay, before they make mistake, let me just rush and carry this suit and go away. That was just a pure weapon, that they have used on the customer. So then you have the one of contrast, which has to do with pricing. Now, what contrast does is that if you go to a shop and you say, okay, you bought a suit for maybe $400, and then they say, okay, after buying the suit, okay, why don't you buy a shirt for $20? Because you've already bought a suit for $400, you find out that the suit, the shirt of $20 or the tie of $15 is not a big deal for you. But if you had started with a lower price, of $15, and they say, okay, buy a suit for $200, the contrast will be too much. You don't want to do it. So salespeople, they use that one, to make people comply. So first of all, you tell them alkaline cup, okay, buy alkaline cup. Yeah, I was talking to somebody yesterday in the US. I said, okay, buy alkaline cup. Alkaline cup is actually $65. I mean, it's 65. Is it $65 or so, or 65 PV, one of them. It's okay. So is it dollars? Okay, no, I mean in US, somebody in the US, and it says that the 65 PV for the alkaline cup, and it's okay. All right, it's okay. If I can buy alkaline cup, then any other one of $20 is just cheap for the person. So they use it as weapons of influence. Yeah, am I up to time now? Okay, sorry. Let me mute you then. Let me unmute you. Okay, hold on 1 minute. Okay. What am I supposed to do? Ask to unmute. Have you done it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. We need to keep to our 5 minutes time allocation, so we'll be able to cover as many chapters as possible. And if we are not able to cover everything, people will need to go back to read more of the chapters. So it's just about summaries of what we have read in those chapters. So you want to move on to the next person now on chapter 2. If there's time left after everything, people can come back and add whatever they think is important that they have missed out because of no time. So please.
Okay, so chapter 2 will be taken by Fumi Adekanyi and Idongesit Akrasi. So let me, are they around? Let me unmute them. Fumi. Which of them is around? Okay, Dogesit is in there. Okay, Dogesit, unmute yourself. And who is the second person? Fumi. I can't see Fumi. Hello, Dogesit? Yeah, you have the floor.
Okay. Okay. Hi, everyone. Good morning. And thank you so much for the opportunity, first of all. Thank you, Mr. Harold, for putting this together. It's amazing. I actually enjoyed reading the book. And I'm one of those people that have piles of books and find it difficult to read. So this is a good one. Thank you so much. So I'll be looking at chapter 2. Chapter 2 is basically about reciprocation. You know, the author starts by having a quote by Ralph Emerson, where he says, pay every debt as if God wrote the bill. You know, so it's just like the old give and take and take. You know, what you give out is what you get, you know. So he came up with so many examples in the book. Okay, there was this professor that tried an experiment where he sent out Christmas cards to just complete strangers. And he was surprised by the amazing results he got. Like, he got so many cards from people that have never met him, people he has never met before. So that was the rule of reciprocation, you know, speaking for itself, you know. He gave out those cards and he got back cards in return. And then, so the rule just says we should try to repair. It's a rule. It's like a human rule where we try, it's in our instincts to try to repay what another person has provided for us, be it birthday cards or invitations. I mean, we do it in our daily lives. Like, maybe somebody invites us for a birthday party of the child, and then we're like, oh, she invited me, I must invite her. You know, somebody gives us a gift for our birthday, like, oh, I have to make sure I remember to give a birthday gift out to this person. So it's a rule we all live by. And it's just basically giving out value to others, knowing that as you build relationships, as you give out value, you offer people some benefits, some positivity. If you have let's say a Facebook page, you know, you offer value, some positivity, some, if you have a skill, you offer out free classes, you know, so people feel indebted to you. Okay, people feel indebted to you. So when you now bring out something to offer to someone, if you're trying to sell something for us, for instance, the long reach opportunity, you know, they'll be like, oh, Idonwesit has been bringing value. She's a nice person. She gives, you know, she invites, she attends, you know, they want to listen to you and they want to reciprocate, you know. That's you influencing them without them even knowing, you know, that they're being influenced by you. There's another example of okay, the story of the $5,000 relief. Okay, so Ethiopia was going through famine in 1985. Okay, so they're going through famine according to the book. You know, they're going through a famine period, and they didn't have enough. Okay, but they heard that Mexico had a problem, you know, of earthquake. So they now decided to send money to Mexico, and the writer was puzzled, like, how could this be? So he now went to do some research, and then he found out that in 1935, that Mexico had actually helped the Ethiopians when they were invaded by Italy. You know, so you see, that's the law, that's the rule of reciprocity coming into play in that part. And then in life generally, you know, people will just label you an ingrate. You know, if somebody does something for you and you don't do something back in return, you know, so that rule is there indirectly or directly. And it's up to us as long reach partners to bring that rule to work for us. Like I said, what can you offer? What values can you offer? You don't have to go direct, but in ways that you can offer things to people, some favors. When you now present your opportunity, when you now present your products, they'll be obliged, they'll be obligated to buy from you or to join you, as the case may be. He also talked about samples. You know, like, you know, some supermarkets, you go to a supermarket, they offer you samples. You know, the one I remember very well is you go to the mall, you know, that these people with the perfume thingy, they say, oh, try this out. You know, sometimes you don't want to try, but when you end up trying, you feel bad just walking away. You want to go back and say, okay, let me check. What are you selling? How much is it? And in that conversation, because of that influence they've put on you by offering you that sample, you find yourself buying from them, because you just wouldn't want to walk away like that. That's one of the examples the writer puts. People usually feel uneasy and find it difficult to accept a sample. And then from the always smiling attendants, they come to you, they're smiling, they talk nicely to you, like me, sometimes if you're having a bad day, like, oh, you're looking beautiful, madam, try this out. You want to try it out, and then you don't want to walk away. You want to offer back something in return, and that's at the end of the day, you might end up buying from them. So in how can we relate that back to our long reach business? We can relate that back in what can we give out to people? Can we give out hand cream? Can we give out a pad? Like, okay, try this. Am I running out of time?
No, you're fine. I just said toothpaste. Yeah, fine.
Okay. Yeah, so toothpaste, exactly, toothpaste. Like my friend came to the house the other day, I just offered her toothpaste, although she ended up buying, but it's something small. And then she said, okay, I'll pay for it, so find those little things you can offer, like samples, and like the toothpaste, they will use it and they will love it. And then they will want to buy from you. They will not feel comfortable just coming back. Oh, ID, give me that toothpaste again. No, they say, oh, I actually like the toothpaste. Can I buy? How much is it? And they end up buying from you. And then the writer also brought this up. Amway, I think most of us know Amway. It's a direct selling. It's a network marketing company as well. It's a big one. And they brought out this thing they used, a technique, called Bug, and where they have a collection of Amway products that would include shampoos, detergents, insect killers, window cleaners, and they'll put it in a tray or in a bag, and then they'll take it. They used to do like the door-to-door sales thing. So they will carry it to a customer's house, and then they will just ask the customer to try it out, there's no obligation, there is no cost, there's nothing, just try our products out. They're lovely products. And I mean, that's an offer no one can refuse, right? So they will just take it, and then some will try it out. Some might use the products. Some might not even finish it. They usually, in that method, they would give like a 24-hour to 48 hours or 72 hours, as the case may be, for the customer to try it out, and then they will come back to either take it back or to follow up on the order. And then, amazingly, most of the customers that try those products, they'll feel obligated. Like, okay, I tried it. Either they try it and they fall in love with it, or they try it and they just say, oh, let me buy, let me just buy out of like, okay, I have to buy, and they recorded so many sales from this technique. And Amway, they're still using that technique up to now, even though they're a very big company. So by now, you know that
very much. You still have a lot to share.
Oh my God, it's plenty.
Except maybe the time we have allocated is not realistic.
It's plenty, but it's fine. Yeah. Okay, can I just round up 2 minutes or later on, right? Later on. Because there's so much.
Yeah, that reciprocal thing you talked about is really working very well, because someone in our team, the Wealth Platform, during our training gave her own testimony about it, when she gave some products to some ladies because of this Mother's Day program coming up, and they took it on and started talking to their friends about the product and everything. So it really works well. So shall we move to the next chapter, please?
Yeah, chapter 3. You have commitment and consistency. Chichi Ezekiel and Esther Udo. Esther, you can unmute yourself. Are you okay?
Okay.
All right, good.
Yeah, I'm okay. Good morning, partners. Good morning, everyone.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Sorry, I'm now looking at this. Sorry, I'm looking at it, and it's saying 10 minutes. So is the allocation 10 minutes?
Yes, because there are two of them. There was only one there, so that one should take 10 minutes.
Oh, so excuse me, the last speaker should go ahead.
Yes, go ahead then.
to continue her own.
I think for 10 minutes. Yeah.
Hello, very sorry. Can the last speaker now continue to another 4 minutes, please?
Because
there are two people speaking. So if there's only one person standing in, they should do it for 10 minutes, eh?
Yeah, because the chapter is for 10 minutes. But if it's two, then it's five minutes. But if it's only one, then it's 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Can you just quickly go on with your chapter 2? Continue with chapter 2, please, for another 4 minutes, please.
Still on that, the reciprocity thing. So the rule is overpowering, So at the end of the day, it overrides the fact whether someone likes you or dislikes you. For instance, he brought example of someone that was in an arts club, and then during the break time, he would offer the participants drinks, like out of courtesy, Coca-Cola, and they would take it, because it's free, right? They would take it. But then after the presentation and whatever they were doing, he would come and then he would say, oh, he's selling some tickets. Would you buy tickets from me? And then people, because they benefited from his Coca-Cola, they feel obligated to buy these tickets from this guy. His name was Joe. So at the end of the day, later on, they were asked, do you like Joe? Or, what made you buy the tickets? And they all said it was because Joe was nice to them. They benefited from the Coca-Cola and all that. So that's one of the ways that we can see how this rule overpowers people and make them do what ordinary they wouldn't do. And then another one I would like to talk about before the time goes is rejection, then retreats, So like if you have, like for us, a long reach business, there's so many entry levels, right? So you could start from the highest entry level when you're presenting the opportunity. And then if the customer says, oh, it's too much, I can't do VIP, you throw in the gold. Depending on the customer, though, you know, but it's better to always start from the higher tier than from the bottom one, because at the end of the day, rejection then retreats. The person says, okay, it's too much. I don't have this money. I don't have 50,000 naira, as the case may be. Okay, why don't you start with 20,000 naira? You would see there will always be success rates from that, because the person will be obligated to say, okay, I can do the 20,000 naira out of just, that courtesy that, okay, the person has reduced price for me, that price reduction. So you talked about a sales team that we're doing a TV plan that would cost, one would cost a 3-year period that will cost $140, and then a 1-year plan that will cost $35. So the salesperson started from that $140, and then he was able to seal the deals of $35 because people would say no to the 140, and then he would throw in the 35, and then they say, okay, they would just take it in. And at the end of the day, he was able to meet up the goal that he had set out for himself. So remember, it's important to secure. And then also another way to use rejection, then retreat, is when you meet a prospect. When you meet a prospect and the prospect says no, you can say, okay, if you say no, do you know someone that might want to do this? And then if you'll be lucky to get a referral from that prospect. Remember, referrals are very important, because if you go to someone and say, oh, Mr. Mecca, your sister or your friend Joy referred me to you that you would like to join Longreach. Because Mr. Mecca respects Joy so much, Mr. Mecca will want to say, okay, I will join Longreach because of Joy. So that is why referrals is a very important tool. And how can you use it? When you get objections from your prospects, that's the rejection then retreats that they talk about in this chapter 2. You use that and say, okay, who can you refer me to? Remembering that referrals is important, because somebody familiar referring you would always make the other person join you. And then also, Mr. Harold had mentioned this one about examples of higher price and lower price, So always start with a higher priced products, and when they reject that one, oh, it's too much, and then you now quietly throw in the cheaper products, and you'd always make a sale, because there's a rule of how do you call that rule? reciprocal concessions. So you ask for big favors and then you follow up with a smaller favor. For instance, there was this boy that was selling tickets for $5. And then he sold to Mr. Richard that wrote the book. And Mr. Richard was like, I'm not interested in these tickets, I don't want it. Then the guy said, okay, if you don't want tickets, why don't you buy chocolate bars for $2? And the guy ended up buying chocolate bars for $2. He said when he left, he was like, I don't take chocolate bars. Why did I buy chocolate bars for $2? So it was obvious that the law of reciprocal concessions was used on him, was used to influence him. So let's find ways in our long reach business on how we can use that. Come up with the big favors, the VIP, follow up with starter combo if you have to. Come up with gold, follow up with Q silver if you have to. Okay, buy our alkaline cup. It's very fantastic. No money, or it's okay if you're not ready. Okay, why don't you try the pad? Why don't you try the toothpaste? So these are ways that we can use to sell our market in our long reach business. Thank you so much. I hope I kept the time.
Yeah,
Let me leave the rest of it.
much.
But please, this book is so rich. Please go back and read it. Go back and read it. It's so rich. I can't wait to hear the other chapters. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Before I call Esther, thank you very much, Ilogesit, for that. I just want to quickly talk about one particular thing that happened in America, and this Hare Krishna. Funny enough, Hare Krishna, they will give you a flower and they will ask you to donate to the temple. And most of the time, once you get that flower from them, which is free, you are bound. It's a law to donate something. So let's try to use all those laws. That's why they call it a jujutsu. That's what the Chinese call weapon. That you fall is a law. So if they give you one, you are bound to reciprocate. Yeah. Say, scratch my back, I scratch your back. You know?
Exactly.
So Esther, please, your chapter 3. Unmute yourself, please. Unmute yourself, Esther. Hold on.
Yeah, you have unmuted me.
Okay.
Good morning, partners. Good morning. Can you hear me over there?
Yes, we're hearing you. Go ahead. They're all of me.
Okay, I want to appreciate our SD and the management of this High Flyers book club for putting this up together. One of my goals for 2021 was to keep myself busy with books. Although this particular book wasn't a part of it, but I actually enjoyed reading this particular chapter because it has to do with practical tips in our business. I also want to celebrate our first two speakers for reviewing that book wonderfully. I actually got value. So going to chapter 3. Chapter 3 talks about consistency and commitment. Are we there?
Yep.
Okay. So chapter 3 talks about consistency and commitment. And then we have come to understand that consistency has to do with staying into something, the quality of being in something at different times, and then staying true to it. It has to do with a lot of qualities which entails being firm, which entails being thick, which entails being decisive, and then having a stubborn mindset about achieving whatever you want to be consistently running. So now this book actually talks about us being consistent. And then it says that once you realize the power of consistency, we have a formidable action, a formidable mindset to stay on acting the way we should. Now, the writer also talks about there's so many efforts that we can put into making our consistency work. And the number one thing he talked about was commitment. Now, we know that if you are not committed to a goal, you can never be consistent. If you're not committed to something, you can never stay true that thing. So the writer says that once you make the decision to work on something, you will be stubborn to succeed on that thing. So if you want to succeed in something and then you're not stubborn about it, you've not made up your mind, to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve in that thing, that means you're not committed, and that means you are not consistent. And at the long run, you will definitely back up. So if you want to be successful, you have to be committed. You have to stay consistent till you achieve your goal. Now, it also has to do with influencing others. How do you influence others through consistent or being consistent in your endeavors? Number one, people like to work with successful people. When somebody sees that you've been committed to a thing, to a goal, and they've seen you walk through this goal for a period of time, they will be more willing, to accept you, to do these things with you, or to come and ask you, this thing you are doing, how far, what is it about? Can I join you? Can I do this thing with you? That's because you've been consistent. So you are influencing others through your consistent spirit. So others will come in and ask you that they want to be a part of what you're doing. It is not because you were doing a to and fro journey. It is because they saw that you were staying true to the, to the goal or to the aim of what you were doing. Coming to our long reach business, a lot of people, that we told to join us in this business, maybe when we started, let's say when I started the business newly, I had a lot of people that, when I told them about the business and they were like, no, I can't do long reach, I can't do network marketing and all that. But at some point, they kept seeing that I was still advertising my business on Facebook. I was still talking about it everywhere I went to. At some point, they just came. They naturally came to me to ask, how can I join you? I am seeing that people are making a lot of money in this business. So I have an auntie somewhere who is doing so well. But since you're around here and you are doing the business consistently, I want to join you. Now I have consistently influenced somebody to join me because they've seen me do the business over time. And because they've seen me that I have been in the business for how many years, they feel it is actually a working system. So if it wasn't working, we wouldn't be consistent in, staying in the system. And also, I would like to use some of the points our author said. He talked about our inner circle, the public eye, and then the magic. Now, I would like to deliberate more on the magic act of being consistent. He said that the committing power is in written goals. The commitment power is in you writing. So if you are able to write, and then you go back to your books to review whatever you had written, you will be committed. And with that, you'll be consistent to do what you have to do. Okay, so we also mentioned that if you write, you will never forget what you wrote. And if you have the eye on your goals, you will always go back to what you wrote. Going back to what Mrs. Sidon said about Amway, in chapter 3, the author also wrote that Amway Corporation used the Magic Act to sell whatever they had. So what they do is they train their sales personnel. They'll train them, to achieve greater and greater accomplishments. And when they do this, they ask these individuals to immediately write out the achievements they've met so far. And by writing out themselves, like personally, they'll be able to tell their customers to also write down their personal expectations from Amway. So for instance, they go to drop the products. Maybe they do door-to-door dropship, and then in case they meet the customers, they will call the customers and they'll be like, did you enjoy our product? Did you like our products? Can you give a review about our products? And do you want to keep using our products? Now, what Amway does is they will give you a sheet of paper and then you write your review with the belief that you will stay committed to that review, or you stay committed to buying from them or being their customer. So they'll give you that paper, you write, and then they'll keep it aside. So once in a while, they'll call you, and when they call you and then you remember that you had written something down, you will always want to, follow up with what you wrote, because, it's you that wrote it, and then nobody forced you to write it. So with that, you'll be influenced to meet up with whatever you said or you wrote. That is why it is very good to write down things. If you have something you want to achieve, if you have a goal that you want to meet up with, it is best to write it down, because when you write it down, you go back to review, you will always have the energy, to keep up with whatever you had written down. And also this brings me to our vision board. Now, if you have a vision board, you have pictures of what you want to achieve for the year. Let's say 2021, you have pictures of all the things you want to achieve, and then you work on these things every morning when you wake up. Like whenever I wake up, I look at them and then I see them boldly written all over me that I have to achieve this thing. So it makes me keep my toes. It keeps you on my toes, rather. So that means I have to consistently and committedly work till I achieve that goal. So the best thing for you to do as a business person, as a partner with Long Reach, is for you to write things down so that you'll be committed and consistent. Okay, so we also have here that if you want to be consistent, you need people. Yes, you need people that you have to, like we call it in our business, accountability partner. If you see people who are succeeding, and then you want to join them in being successful, you have to make them your accountability partner. So consistency and commitment also has to do with being accountable. So you cannot really be accountable on your own. You need somebody to pair with. You need somebody to always call, okay, this is what is happening around me. This is what is happening in my business. Am I doing well? Can you help me? And all of that. So it means you need to have an accountability partner who knows what you're doing, so that the person at any point will be able to, direct you or guide you along the way. So that's one of the ways in which you can be committed to your goals. Then he also talked about the inner circle. And then this means that if we have interest in something, what our mindset will help us to achieve whatever we want. So the major thing that has to do with consistency is your mindset. If you make up your mind that you want to achieve this thing, and then your mind is ready, your mind is already thinking about it, you have the energy to flow along with that thing, nothing will ever stop you along the way. And you also mentioned that the only reason people stop being consistent is if the system is not working. So if a system is not working, what you're doing is actually not working, and probably you've stayed on it for a period of time, and then it's not working. He talked about having a judgmental mindset. So you have to think about which one will work for you. Or okay, he said you have to have a judgmental mindset. So there's consistency if the system is working, and there is an inconsistency if the system is not working. So if the system is not working, that means you have to do trade on a different path. I used to listen to some of our leaders who say that they've joined several other companies, and then it wasn't working, and then before they met Longwish, and Longwish is actually working for them. So that means consistency has two parts. So sometimes you may be willing to, giving all your mind, to giving all your energy to succeed in a particular system, but if it is not working, or you're not helping yourself to work it out, that means you have to take a switch. So if you take a switch, that means the other part you're also going to, you need to stay consistently and build except you now realize that probably that part is not still working. That is when you can now decide on what you have to decide on. So meaning you have to be have a judgmental mindset when consistency is involved. That is what the author said. So generally, consistency just has to do with the quality of being thick and firm with your decisions. So if you are making a decision to achieve a particular goal, that means you have to stay true to the goals. You have to work you need to work, to make it happen. You have to do all the available things. You have to study. You have to write down goals. You have to, meet and have accountability partners, to help you to stay on the course successfully. If you stay consistently in a particular path, you will definitely succeed, except the system is not working. And for our kind of business, we have seen that the system is actually working. You all will agree with me that our system is working. Longwish is doing so well. People are, having their time freedom. People are having financial freedom. People are just living their lifestyle, the lifestyle of their dreams. So it means the system is working. So if you want to if you want the system to work for you, that means you have to be consistently building the system, and also consistently building yourself and staying committed to your goals. So I think that's the few points I drafted. And I hope I've been able to present.
Thank you very much. Excellent. So what I want to just clarify before he takes over is this. When they put two people to take a chapter, how do we know the two people are on ground there? Because for chapter
the names are there. The names are there. It's only
chapter 3, it says
Chichi and Chichi and Esther Udo, but Chichi is not around now.
Oh, she's not around. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Okay, I forgot to add. She excused herself. She said she will not be available. She chatted me up this morning and told me I should stand in for her.
Okay, good. So please, when we move on to the other chapters, if your partner is around, would you be able to keep your own time into 5 minutes so the other person will be able to share with the remaining 5 minutes, please? Because I may not be able to know who is on ground there. But if they are not there and only one person is sharing, then the whole chapter is for 10 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much, Esther, for that. That was very, very great. We go to chapter 4, which is social proof. I have Brian Ita and Patience Eze. I don't know. I can see Brian around, but is Patience Eze in? Hello. Let me unmute Brian. Yeah, is that Brian? Hello. Is that Brian Ita? Hello. I can't see. Gezuzo, please help out. Is Brian around or Patience Eze? Where's Gezuzo?
Hello, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Hello. That's Brian. Okay.
Yeah, this is Brian.
Is a Patience Eze there so that we know whether you're doing for 10 minutes or 5?
Patience said she was at work, but I don't know if she's at the meeting right now.
I can't
Patience,
see her
are
name
you?
there. So you go for 10 minutes then.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Good morning, everyone. It is an honor and a privilege to be part of the book review. And the book which we are reading today, The Psychology of Persuasion, is quite an interesting one. Persuasion because it has to do with a lot of psychology. And I started reading this book from chapter 1 before I paused and I had to go to chapter 4. And I told myself, okay, for the purpose of this review, let me go to chapter 4, but I will still go back to read this book from chapter to chapter because it was quite interesting. So the chapter I will be reviewing this evening is social proof. Now, going through this whole chapter, what came to mind, there were some parts I had an eyebrow raised, and there are some parts I had a smile, a grin on my face. And why is that? The chapter talks about canned laughter. It started with an illustration of canned laughter. And when I saw that, I tried to understand what canned laughter is. And that's like an art of putting laughter to make a boring message interesting. Most of us growing up, if we are used to some television programs, the likes of Mind Your Language, if any of us have seen those programs back in the days, Mind Your Language and the Charlie Chaplin Show. Now, if you see most of these TV programs as at that time, what the presenter is presenting to you, the people are not laughing in those programs, but there is an audible recorded sound that is presented to the audience who is watching. And with that, you have no choice but to believe that that episode that you are watching is interesting. So your mind has been moved from, why am I watching this boring program, to, okay, this thing is interesting. And it is shown to us repeatedly for us to now begin to see that this program is actually an interesting program. Now, why is it a good tool to use to influence people? There is a tendency that the more you see that program consistently over time, the more you get appealed to that program. In other words, reading that chapter and that phrase in the book, it reminded me of a phrase in our business we call not reinventing the wheel. In our business in Longreach, you do not reinvent the wheel. That means what you see your leaders and others do over time consistently, and it works, you are appealed to that. That is what appeals to the general public. That is what people see and say, okay, if this is working for them.
Have a great evening.